Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hello. My name is Sennett and I make movie reviews and documentaries on movie history. And before we get into this video, I want to quickly plug in my new documentary, Mack, Sennett, Hollywood's King of Comedy, which is premiering today at 10 a.m. So feel free to click that video in the description so you can check it out. Now with all that out of the way, let's talk about the 1932 movie, Vampyr. So this movie was directed by Carl Theodor Dreyer, who is arguably best known for his 1928 movie, The Passion of Joan of Arc. And this movie tells the story of Alan Gray, a young man who encounters supernatural forces in the French countryside, including a world of shadows and ghosts, and a vampire preying on a family at a remote inn. Now, Vampyr, for me at least, is one of the most interesting movies I have ever watched. I've actually tried to write a review about this a couple of times in the past, but I was never able to properly explain how I felt about it, just because it's a very specific and unique type of vampire film. The best way I can really describe it is like Caligari or Nosferatu, in that it's very much a dreamlike experience where you're transported into this world where spirits and shadows take on their own lives. One scene, for example, I love is where Alan is exploring an abandoned building and comes across an essentially other world of shadows that are dancing and playing music, which is a very, again, beautiful scene to watch, but it's immediately halted when the vampire comes in and tells them to shut up, which is admittedly a little bit funny. And there's also other examples of shadows moving separate from their human hosts, if you'll pardon the term, and running around in the wilderness, which again, I'd personally, just my opinion, argue that it adds to the dream-like world with how the rules of it can change at any time. And it's also helped by the fact that Vampyr was done as a silent film, with audio being dubbed later for distribution to a couple different countries. So the film is also accompanied by this beautiful gothic score that adds to the spooky atmosphere of it. So it all creates this area where you can draw your own conclusions for how you interpret everything that goes on. You have the shadows that maybe help the vampire, but again, it's never outright stated. You've got a dream sequence where Alan is being buried alive by the villains, and you've got a vampire who's more or less the opposite of the modern vampire archetype. For context, she's this elderly lady who is aided by a doctor and a one-legged gunman who help with killing anyone in her way and gaining her victims. It's a nice fresh of breath air, if you will, of how we're probably used to seeing the undead portrayed as these magical, all-powerful creatures who have the most specific kind of weaknesses. Whereas this is a villain who, yes, she has powers and is evil, but she needs to feed on others with the aid of the living, which I think, again, is a really interesting to interpret the vampire. So to conclude, Carl Theodor Dreyer's Vampyr is a very fascinating film to watch. It's not a movie that scares you, but does leave you feeling amazed by the world of its own. It's one where you'll be left with so many ways to interpret it and have a blast about talking about it for days on end. It's a movie I'd personally argue is in need of more love, so please be sure to check this out if you haven't already. And that concludes my review of Carl Theodor Dreyer's Vampyr. Before I go, I want to thank you very much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe so you can check out more future movie reviews and movie documentaries. And if you have already seen this movie, be sure to let me know your thoughts of it in the comments below. And until next time, my name is Sennett. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope you have a great day.